Hi there guys, it's Dave from Horizon Fish Keeping. Just wanted to do a short video today on hatching bristlenose plecos. For a while now I've had a calico male and an albino female bristlenose. I've got them in planted tank. It's just a 120 litre. I'm roughly doing about 7 pH, TDS about 230, obviously no nitrite. It's been established for about 2 years. It's just a mixed tank. It's got all different kinds of species of fish in. So basically I just wanted to do this video just to show how I'm getting on with them and sort of the process that I go through. So recently I noticed that the plecos had spawned in one of the bits of driftwood there. I would just turn the piece of wood over and there were a clutch of eggs there, but the male had actually left them. So obviously we weren't going to take care of them and fan the eggs and stuff, so they would have just gone fungusy. So what I did is I just took the eggs out and put them in. I've got just an egg tumbler just here off camera, and then I'm putting them into the fluval breeder box. So what I'll do is I'll switch the camera around and I'll show you guys what I can see, and hopefully if you like this video, you know, like, subscribe. I do have an Instagram page that's really good as well. It's Horizon Fish Keeping. It's quite popular, so if you want to check that out and have a look at that, that'd be great. You know, I'm going to do more videos as time goes by now. You know, obviously my Instagram page is quite popular now, and I just want to sort of expand into doing YouTube videos as well. At the minute I'm breeding, I've got some gold rams breeding, some tequila sunrise guppies. I'm obviously doing the calico bristlenose plecos at the moment. I will be doing some angelfish. I'm going to go into sort of doing rainbows as well. I've got some banded rainbows that they spawn every morning without fail. Just put a mop in on the night time. As soon as lights come on, there's just eggs everywhere. So I'm going to try and do them. And then I'm thinking about doing some panda corridors at some point as well. So I'll just switch camera around, guys, and I'll show you what I'm seeing. And then, you know, we can sort of talk our way through, you know, the process that I do. They're actually hatching at the moment now. The eggs have started to hatch. So you'll see the wigglers are just starting to pop out of the cluster there and start to free swim. Obviously they'll have the egg sacs on. That's the big yellow ball, what they'll feed off probably for the next 5 or 6 days. And then I just use the Zist baby brine shrimp hatch. I'll be feeding them and spirulina powder. And I've also got some Macari spirulina sort of wafers as well, so I'll be feeding that. You can also do sort of cucumber and spinach and all sorts of things like that, because they are you know, the vegetarian mainly, but they do need the protein just to get the growth and the muscle on them at the beginning anyway. So we'll go into that a bit later on once we get a slightly bigger size. Once the egg sacs have gone off them, I'll probably do another video just when they're coming out of the breeder box into the fry tanks that I've got, and then we'll you know, we'll show how we feed them then from once the egg sacs have gone, you know, and the process that I use, because I usually sort of do a lower water level just so that they're not having to search all over the tank to find the food. Sometimes with the brine shrimp as well, they'll sort of go to the light. So what I do is I feed them, they're in the water column, but as the day goes on they'll sort of stick to the sides and the bottom and everywhere, and that's when the plecos will find them off the sides and things. So when they're in the water column they're a bit sort of difficult for the plecos to find. A bit better for sort of like the rams and the guppies because they're swimming around in the water column. But with the plecos it's much easier to find them from the bottom, so I use, like, you know, sinking foods, you know, the wafers and the pellets and things. But just to get the extra protein, and I'll use the baby brine shrimp as well because it will go to the bottom eventually. So I'll just spin the camera around, guys, anyway, and just show you what I'm seeing now, and the setup that I've just sort of made a bit of a setup for the fluval breeder box, but I've adapted it. I've sort of hot rodded it a bit, so you'll be able to see what I've done to that to bring it. Right, guys. So as you can see there, I've just got the it's just a cheap sort of generic egg tumbler, just this here, which runs off an airline, off an air pump. I use the same air pump to run my Zist brine shrimp hatch there. So I run this daily. I usually feed it on a night time, so I'll, you know, 9 o'clock at night I'll empty this out, and then I'll feed my fish, mainly the fry, and then obviously I'll just use this whole food salt and then I've got brine shrimp eggs that I get from eBay in the freezer. So then I'll just sort of, I usually do 2 tablespoons. I'll do a video on this hatch because I think it's really good as far as brine shrimp hatches go. I do have a cheaper Chinese one as well, but this thing is just brilliant because you can do up to 2 litres of brine shrimp in there. I usually keep it about this low at the minute because I don't have so many fry. I've only got some gold rams. I'll soon to have the calico plecos, and I do have some guppy fry as well, but you know, at the minute the tank's quite empty, so I'm keeping it low at the moment. But when the tank's full, you know, I fill that up to top and get loads of brine shrimp. So as we're going on anyway, we've got the egg tumbler there set up to the airline. As you can see, it's bubbling out there, and just inside there you can see the clutch of the bristlenose eggs, and obviously some have hatched out already, the wigglers there, and they're sticking to the sides. So they've got quite strong mouths when they're first born, so they can suck onto the to the sides of things. They'll feed off the big yellow ball there, is just the eggs, the yolk sac. They'll feed off that probably about the next 5 or 6 days. Once that's gone, then I'll start feeding probably about 2 to 3 times, well, 3 to 4 times a day. I usually feed when I first get up, a couple of minutes before I go to work, and then I feed when I get home from work, and then as soon as, you know, when I'm going to bed in the evening. So you can see there's probably about, there's them 5 there, and there's just a few on bottom as well that they're wiggling there, you know, just all over the place. But as day goes on, these will break free, and they'll just leave the shell of the eggs just like that. Then you can pull that out, or you can move them to the breeder box, which I'll do. So I've got the just here, just zoom back out a little bit. I've got the Fluval. It's the 2 litre fry box. It does come with these separators. I'll just move this light out of the way. It's just a cheap light. You get these separators with it. You do get 2, so you can have it into 3 compartments if you wanted to sort of split them up. What I found is with the pleco fry and the ram fry, they've got sort of small slots in the, you know, in the separators, and also the overflow there. This is the tighter one, but there's another one that's it's got sort of smaller hole, wider holes in. So this is the smallest one, and that just slots in there. It's just to stop the fry going into your larger tank. So I'm just using a 120 litre. It's just set up open top tank, LED lights planted. It's all real plants, and you know, there's Java ferns in there, Nubius, you know, all the moss and things. Mixture of fish. I've got the you know, the banded rainbows just there. There's a couple of angelfish and that sort of thing, corridors and whatever. But you don't want the fry, you know, sort of getting through this, and then they can actually, when it's bubbling, I ain't got it on at the minute, but once you turn the air onto this, it'll start filling this compartment up, and then what it does is it just keeps on a constant circulation, so that it's changing the box 24 hours a day to keep the water fresh in there, and it overflows. Just sort of, it's basically like an automated water change, but on an airline. And it'll overflow down this side. Obviously with small fry, they can sort of come along and swim up to this height, especially the rams, because they're really small, and rainbow fry and things like betta fry, they can get through the grid and then overflow down there. So I've sort of hot rodded it a little bit. I just had some of this it's sort of medium to coarse sponge filter that I've put the separator in there, but they can actually come through the holes in this, which I learnt last time, because a few did get out of the overflow there and went into the tank, I noticed one day. So basically I just put a piece of sponge filter up against it, and that just stops any fry getting through the first part. And I usually put a little piece just behind this as well, so if they do get through the first part, they're not going to sort of get into the tank and get eaten by the bigger fish there. With the bristlenose plecos, they tend to rasp on wood quite a lot, and I do have quite a bit of bogwood in there. So what I do is I just break off a couple of pieces just off the bogwood, and I'll leave these in the bottom. You can see there's already some bristlenose fry in there. They were just the first to hatch about 2 days ago, so I just added them to the box just so they're out of the way and they won't start getting beaten around by the air in there. It's a bit dirty at the minute because I've just done a load of ram fry. And I didn't have a chance to sort of clean it up because they were hatching, and I just wanted to get it set up quickly. This is just a cheap generic light. It comes with like the lights, the tanks that come for sort of pets at home and that type of thing. It's just a submersible LED, so it can go into the water, so there's not, you know, it's not any risk of electrocution or like that. just to prop it on top of there. If it did fall in, it'd be absolutely fine. And it's just sort of to highlight the tank, because the fry they want a good sort of 12 to 14 hours of light, just to keep them active, and it builds them up, and they grow a lot faster that way. And obviously my planted light, I don't have them for that long because it causes a massive sort of hair algae bloom in the bigger tank. So I've just popped that light on top, so one, I can see what's going on in there on an evening, and also it just keeps the light on them so they keep more active. So if you've got any more questions, guys, obviously this is not a full video of how to feed them and things like that. I do have some food here with me, so I'd use sort of these Macari algae wafers. I will say, buy good food, guys. You know, you spend a bit more, they're only a couple of quid more. I use sort of like these Macari wafers, Viber bites, and then I use like most good quality foods. I've got the Tetra Pro colour there. Sorry, I just got the super glue for adding to Nubius at Stearns. Alkaline buff, that's just from a cichlid tank. I've got some Malawis in a big tank in the bedroom. I use these nano NT Labs. These are great for small ram and that sort of stuff. And then I've got sort of different sizes of the tropical formula bug bites as well that I use. It's just that size, that's 1.4 to 2 millimeters, and then this one's 0.25 to 1 millimeters. Now they're really good, and I just use these. These are for when the plecos are a little bit bigger, because it's just a bigger grain on these catfish pellets. They're really good for the adults, but they're just a bit large for the. I don't know if you can see that. It's just focuses a bit out, but they're better for the adults. Sort of your 2-inch to 3-inch fish there. They're better for, and then they use the nano because they're really small. You're talking 0.5 millimeter, something like that. They're really good for the smaller, and they're quite high protein as well. I think they're doing about 50 grams of protein, so I get them off Amazon. And then obviously the baby brine shrimp as well, I use them. Crushed up flakes, alright. I wouldn't use too much of it because it can, it fouls the water quite bad. But yeah, that's just a quick video from now, guys. If you like this kind of video and you want me to do some more, just give us a like and subscribe. It really helps. I find that a lot of people watch my videos, but they don't tend to, leave comments or, to subscribe, which would be great. You don't have to watch all my videos. If you just give us a subscribe and a like, that'd be perfect. Just sort of makes me think, I might make some more videos, and I do have loads of tanks. I've got this one. I've got about 9 tanks, and I breed fish regular. It's a new channel. Like I say, my main course we're Instagram for Horizon fish tanks, and that's my biggest place. I put loads of reels on there, and photos and things of my tanks and all the plants that I'm doing. I've got some scape tanks. This one's scaped. I did this one about 2 years ago. Like I say, it's all done in bogwood and stone and things. I'm just using like it's a quartz gravel with some aquasol gravel mixed in. I've done like a thick bed there, so it gives all the nutrients, and I use the Tropica root tabs in there as well. But yeah, it's a nice tank, nice looking tank. I was running CO2 on it for probably about a year, and then I've just knocked it off recently just because I went into more breeding and things, and the tank would just grow in too fast. I couldn't keep up with it. Yeah, this is just an Amazon light that I use. I'm not sure on spectrum, but it's the blue, red, and white RGB. So, and then I'm just running an all pond solution. I think it's 1400 litres per hour, whatever it is, or 1400 model on this particular one, and it's done me alright for now. So what I'll do is, guys, I'll get off on this one, but yeah, like I say, just give us a like, share and subscribe, and then I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.